everyone. How are you? Thanks for being with us today. So we'll just wait a little bit for everyone to join. In the meantime, you guys can tell me a little bit where you're from. There we go. Hi from Utah. Tyrol. Hello, nice to see you guys. Hello from Australia. Where else? Let's see. Where are you from? England. How are you guys doing? This feels like the Eurovision. Hi from Paris. How you guys doing? We'll wait maybe one more minute. Let's wait for everyone to join and then we'll get started. All right, you guys, let's get started. So hello, everyone. I'm Aviv Sarel. I'm a product marketing manager at Wix Studio. Thank you so much for joining us today for this exclusive Wix Studio Expert Drop session. So last month, Wix Studio announced a new way for partners to earn revenue and to collaborate with professionals by selling their own design templates in the marketplace. This is super exciting news for the both of us. We're happy to host your creation on our platform, and at the same time, you guys can enjoy a new income path that can benefit your business. So we're currently in the early stage of submission where you can submit your template and have a chance to be among the first to be showcased in the marketplace when it will go live soon. So in the end of this webinar, we will share with you the submission link and guidelines needed for the process. So no worries about that. Just need a little bit of patience and you'll get everything you need. So today in this exciting expert drop, we're happy to introduce you to our templates team of professionals. Wix started creating templates back in 2006. And since then, we've created more than 1,000 templates for Wix and over 70 templates for Studio since the launch. So our team of professionals have all the tricks and trades up their sleeves. And in this webinar, they're happy to give a sneak peek into the templates building process and prep you guys before designing a well-designed selling template. So I would like to add to the stage Inbar Golan, lead visual content expert team lead, and Kobi Michaeli, lead designer and mentor in the templates team. Inbar is going to talk us through the planning and content strategy that the team uses before they set out to build the template. Then Kobi will take us behind the scenes and show us how he designed one of Studio's most popular templates. He'll explain a little bit about its creative choices and give you a few tips that you can use for your own designs. So thanks for bearing with me, you guys. So Inbar and Kovi, can you please introduce yourself to our audience, a little bit about what your team does and your role in it?
Sure. Hi. So you want me to start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So hi, everyone. I'm Inbar. And as Aviv said, I'm leading the team of the visual content experts. And we're creating the visual and textual content strategy for Wix templates, both for Wix Editor and for Wix Studio.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kobe. I'm a graphic designer at the templates team. And our team is responsible for designing all Wix templates on both platforms, Wix Editor and Wix Studio. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Thanks for being here, you guys. So I think before we really dive in, let's talk a bit about the actual concept of templates. We know that partners are used to work with clients on their business websites. Can you explain a bit about the shift between real site building and template building? It seems like a big mind shift between seeing the client's need versus having no client at all.
Can I go for it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think that the biggest difference between a real website and a template is the fact that there is no real client. The client is a fake company or fake person, it doesn't matter, or a studio, whatever. And when you're working with a client, so the client has his own desires, he has his own creative ideas and so on, and he's criticizing your work. And when you're designing a template, you are planning all the roles all together. You have to be the client, you have to be the designer, and so on. But it's very difficult to stay objective when you're doing when you design a template. So we at Wix, we really try to criticize our own work by showing the websites to a lot of our employees before we launch the template. So I think that this is I think that this is like really the biggest difference between the both.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's having a client, a real client, is the main thing when you're creating a real website. You have a real client that has its own brand and its own content, visual content and textual content, that you get it from them, and that's how you create your website. And when you're creating a template, you don't have it, and that's when you have to make smart choices, as Kobe said, yourself, and they have to be based on something, which is why at Wix we conduct such a very thorough research behind every template that you see. So when you're creating a template, it's basically creating a product that will be relevant and useful for potentially not one client, but for many different clients that will choose it as their starting point, and then they can start their own website based on your template. So you're creating a product rather than only just a website.
Do you want to maybe share your screen and show us a little bit what you mean when you say product on a shelf?
Yeah, sure. So do you see my screen already?
Yep.
Great. So when your guys are going to create templates for the Partners Templates Marketplace, you will have your own templates page, just like we have at Wix Studio. And it's going to be a separate page, of course, just dedicated for your templates. But the main thing will be the same, because you have to remember that when you're creating a template, eventually it will be competing with other templates of other partners of Wix. So you have to make your template stand out, and something that to make the visitors of the page pause, right next to the template that you created, and grab their attention with it, and to make them click on it and eventually choose it and pay for it. And basically that's how you get revenue from your work. And the more people that would choose your template, the more money that you make out of the same website that you created.
Definitely. I have a question from the audience. Just a moment. We're hearing that many partners choose to create a template from an existing site that they already built and they have in their own bank of websites. So what do we think about that workflow, for starting from an actual business site and not starting from scratch?
That's a totally legitimate option. You can start from scratch, like from a blank page, as we do at Wix, or you can start from a real website that you already designed for a real client. And in that case, you do have to make some changes, because you cannot upload a real website as a template. So you need to change the brand and the logo, and of course, all the textual and visual content that you already placed in that website, and to replace it with something else. That's basically the two options, and they're both great.
Cool. And just another, sorry for that. Just a second, my bad. There's another question. Can anyone submit a template? Is this open for everyone?
Yep, sure. Any Wix Studio account that is part of the Partners program is eligible to submit template to the marketplace. And there's no need to be in a certain level or criteria in the program in order to do that.
Okay, cool. So this is mainly for partners, and this is basically a marketplace for professionals for other professionals.
Exactly. You will be creating a template for other partners that will be creating a website for their own clients. Exactly.
Perfect. Okay. So moving forwards, Inbar, let's talk a bit about the structuring and the building blocks of a template. What are the steps in planning the content strategy for a new template, and how do you take decisions when there's no real client involved?
Okay, so if you can share my screen for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Just a second. So I can take you through the process of creating a template as we do at Wix. And when we approach a new template, we believe that a good template is based on a good content strategy. That's pretty much the secret behind most of our successful, or all of our successful templates. And I think it will be clearer if we're going to take one example that you probably familiar with, and that is this template that you see here on the right. This is the template that Kobe designed. And I'm going to walk you through the process of how we created it. So the first thing that we do, and the first thing that I advise you to do when you're thinking about creating a template, is to choose a topic. It can be anything, and I strongly advise you to choose a topic that you're already very familiar with. If you have a vast experience of creating e-com websites, then it would make a good idea to create the first template in that field. If you created many websites for, let's say, business professionals or the health industry or whatever that may be, then choose something that you are familiar with, because this is going to help you to make the right decisions that I was mentioning earlier. And of course, if you want to take the chance and go to an unknown field, you can also just search for whatever is the hot topic and hot business that is booming right now. And that can also serve you as a starting point. So in this case, we decided to go with a tech company, which is the broad topic that we decided to start with. And when you have like this initial idea of what is the template that you're going to create, I still advise you to take a further step ahead and to think about a fake client, because as we said, we don't have a real client involved. So you have to be a little bit more specific. In this case, we thought that this tech company that we invented will be targeting the AI, or specializing in the AI shipping company, the AI shipping field. Back in the day, that when we created this template, AI shipping was very trendy, and it was a hot topic, and this is why we decided this topic specifically. So take that extra step when you're thinking about not just a tech company. What is the company that you're going to creating this template for? And the reason why it's so important is actually when you're thinking about this extra step of defining that persona, is to understand what are the needs of this fake business that you created. So we at Wix create this kind of a ID card for this business, and we actually write down what is this fake business does. In this case, it's a robotic tech company specializing in drones and utility robots. And we specify what is the persona, like a startup company in this case, looking to promote their product. And I think it's going to be important for you to understand the persona, just because I know it sounds like, why is that important? Is if you understand that you have a startup company, then that can dictate what is the content that you're going to put in the about page, let's say. Like, are you going to place just a single image of the founder, or it's going to be a multiple images of different people that are in the company? So see who is the persona behind it helps you to understand a little bit more about the needs. The next thing that we do is to think about the KPIs, the goals of the websites, the key performance indexes of the website. So in this case, we decided that goal of this fake company would be to showcase their product and their services. So basically, you're creating your own brief, as you said in the beginning, and you defined exactly what are the needs that before you start designing, and that helps you along the way. And the next thing that we do is we start to research. So with Wix, we start with a very thorough research behind every template that you see in the page. There are tons of websites that we collected as inspirations, and that helps us to understand what this industry needs. So this is just a glimpse of the website that we created, that we collected. These are real websites.
By the way, where do you look for these websites when you start your research? Do you have any specific places, or?
We go to many different platforms. We have awards, we have Site Inspirer, we have, you can Google it, we have Behance, any source that would lead us to stunning websites that can serve as inspiration.
Cool, thanks.
So yeah, so this is just a collection of the website that we collected. And we don't just collect them and look at them from afar. We just go very deeply into them and understand what are the needs. So do you want me to take a look at one of them, or one?
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
Okay, so let's say this company. I'm just going to share what is it that I look at when I look at a website. So the visual language here is very prominent. And we see that there is like a very bold statement in the first fold, and there's a subtitle and the CTA button below it. And then we look at the menu. We understand that, for example, they have the homepage, they have a career page, a blog, and content. And we also look at the sections, and we understand like how the homepage is actually built. They have this kind of an inspirational vision statement here. And for example, we see that they they show their testimonials of their clients and their hiring section and so on.
I want to just stop you for a second. There's a question that I think it's relevant for the moment. For the copy text that we actually use for templates, do we need to use real text or text prompts or Latin text filler? What do we recommend at this point when we create templates?
So you are probably familiar with the way that we do it at Wix, and you can do the same. We collect like a combination between real text and like fake or dummy text that we place. So I can actually switch quickly to one of our templates here, and I'll give you an example if you want. Then we have we usually give real titles. Hold on, see it? Sorry. So we usually use real titles. You can definitely use AI tools for that. That's a great way to save time. I wouldn't recommend you to use just a dummy text for the first fold, because it helps to understand what the website is about. But we incorporate some dummy text inside. So when it's a small case, like for example, this is a space to share a review. So this is a dummy text that we use. So we use both.
It's a combination.
Yeah, it is.
Cool, thank you. Okay, you can proceed. Thank you.
Right, so going back to where we were, so this is what we understood from this specific website. And just to give you a glimpse of another website, then this is a different company with an interesting design. And again, there's a full width image. In this case, it's a video, and there's this bold statement again. And we have this visual language that is very prominent. This specific company, by the way, it's for medical devices, but it doesn't matter. It's still within the field of tech, so it works for us. And we understand that there's a section that elaborates a little bit more about the product, so it's probably needed. And we see that this is visual, like visually it's very clear that they're using these lines and this black and white monochromatic palette, color palette. So we're learning a lot from just looking at websites. And but by looking at more and more websites, we see the commonalities coming up. And this way it helps us to make the decisions of what is the fake website or the template that we're creating is going to have. So after we've done this research, and again, we go over hundreds of websites, but you guys can stop whenever you want. So we map the industry needs. We specify the special features and which prominent apps they have, and what is the common site structure and the visual language, also the textual language. And we collect all that together. And that leads us to create the sitemap. So that's the next step for us. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it or do that as well when you're working on real websites. But sitemap is actually a great way to present the structure of, it's like a skeleton basically, to present the structure of the website before you go to the design. So in here, we can actually see the navigation, which sections leads to where, and we have a full understanding of what are the pages and what each page contains. So if you can take a look here, so we have a homepage, tech, about, and contact, and that was the sitemap that we decided on for that templates. And I can actually switch to the final outcome that you're probably familiar with. And this is this. So we have the same tech page and the about and the contact page as we did in the sitemap.
Amazing.
So, and all the structure and all the sections that we decided.
Another important question is how can we know exactly what functionalities and features or apps we should use in our templates?
Okay, that's a good question. When we're thinking about functionalities, we're talking about apps or features that you can integrate in your website to create actually a better template. Because if you are adding the right functionalities, you're saving time to whoever is going to choose your template as their starting point. So for example, if you're going to create, let's say, okay, so this is probably, you know, this one. This is a template that we created for an online store. It's a home goods store. And in this case, if you're creating an e-com, then it's only natural that you will incorporate an e-com app in it so you can present the products. So this is, we use Wix stores, of course. So this is the Wix stores widget. And when you're creating a template and you incorporate the functionalities, or sorry, the specific app, I really advise you, don't just place the widget and just leave it like that. It's really, really useful if you just, you know, customize the inner pages and the inner, the inner pages basically of the product. So when you can customize in Wix stores the product page, and you can see that we created like this whole collection of images, which really helps to understand what to do with this page and how to use it. So the more customized the template, this page will be, the more time you'll save.
I'm sorry, I'm bothering you. I just have a last question, and I think we're going to have to move forward then. So I know that many of our partners are developers or even like basic code users, and they're interested to know, is it possible to use custom code in template building?
Absolutely. You can use code when you're creating templates. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So Mibar, thank you so much. I think now after understanding the planning stage of creation, I want to move forward to Kobe. Kobe designed one of Wix Studio bestseller template, Volaso. We just talked about it. So Kobe, I know our audience wants to know, what do you think makes this template so successful?
Well, that's a big question. I hope that I can help you through this webinar to maybe get an answer to it.
Yeah,
And,
let's do this. You want me to share your screen?
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the Volaso template. It's a tech company, as we already know. First of all, why we, as Inbar said, we chose this topic since we knew that we have a lot of Wix users that are creating tech company websites. And also, a year ago, all the AI started booming and it was everywhere, and we thought that we should jump on that trend and do something, do a template for it. So talking about the design and why this template is successful. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the first fold. So we already told you that the template that you were going to build is going to be placed in the marketplace, and it's like a product on a shelf, and you have to convince people to click on it because it's just a first impression. You only have few seconds, not even few seconds, maybe a second to convince someone to click on your website, and I think that this is where the first fold comes out. Basically, like I usually prefer in my work to choose something that is very clean, but also very coherent, and it makes it much easier for everybody to understand what the website is all about. Also, when I prefer to go with a clean image with not too many details, because this way I can play with the composition better. I can create more interesting typography, and also when you build a template, one of the most important things is to always remind yourself that somebody else is going to use this, and so you have to also try and imagine how their content will be placed in the template. So always bear that in mind, and don't just leave place just for few words. Make it coherent and strong.
A little question from the audience that I think it could lead us to our next point. Where do you get the imagery from? What kind of imagery do you use, and where do we get it from?
Okay. Okay, so the Volaso template. First of all, I'll tell you just a quick story. When I saw the brief at the first time, I was said, okay, that's a really good idea, but where can I get photos of a delivery robot? Because there's not a lot like them, especially not in all the stock websites like Shutterstock and Getty and so on. So I thought, okay, we just started working with Midjourney, and I thought maybe it's a great time to get familiar with it and play with it a little bit. So all the images from the Volaso template, I think it's the first template that we ever did it with, are AI generated images. So it's pretty cool.
Just before you continue, I'll just want to say that any media that you have the right for, you can use for the template. Okay, so just for all the audience to understand that before you go ahead and talk about Midjourney.
So actually, like I have this like really quick flow to show you. So I wrote a prompt. I actually wrote a lot of prompts to see what gets me the best results. And I'm just showing you a quick glimpse of the 4 final options for the robot, which I really liked. But just so you know, I actually generated hundreds and hundreds of images. I had it took a lot of patience. So once I have those 4 robots that I like, I told myself, okay, now I need more images of the same robot, but in different scenarios. So I tried to tweak the prompt a little bit, and I saw that was kind of getting close, but then I was like, okay, bingo! I have something that it's quite similar, and then I knew that I can start and try and generate a series, because back then, which is a year ago, Midjourney didn't have the possibility to generate a series of photos of the same thing. So I had to generate hundreds and thousands of images until I had it all glued together. And I'm just going to show you like a quick glimpse of it's not all the images, but you can see that this is like the series of images that I generated, which played out really great for me. One more thing that I want to talk about is the motion. I used once I generated this image, I said, okay, this image is quite cool, but maybe I can give it a little bit of a motion. And I know that a first fold is much better with a video than with just a still image. So I quickly dropped this image into After Effects and created this really simple and subtle animation of the light. It kind of looks like the robot is about to turn or something like that, or is thinking. So yeah, that's just one more thing. And I want really quickly to go through the layout. So as you can see, it starts with this like really dark atmosphere. And I thought it would be pretty cool to continue with it in the second fold, which is the vision of the company. That's the first image that I actually generated for the robot. And then I knew that I'm jumping into our product, which is maybe like the most informative section of the template. So I switched the background into white, so it kind of gives a good rhythm to the scroll. And then I use this really nice and simple sticky effect, which actually, I don't know, I really like using the sticky effect. It makes the scrolling so much better. And then once we start talking about the company itself, the company that makes the robot, I thought that this is another great spot to switch back the color background into black, because I generated this really dark and futuristic looking factory of where they make the robots. And then again, it's just, like dry facts and dry numbers about the company. So I stayed with the black and then switched it again. So eventually, what I'm trying to say is that try to, I don't advise you to change the color background in every section, because this is actually kind of makes the scrolling very predictable and quite boring. And I try to find like the right rhythm, which will keep the user, the viewer, engaged into the scrolling rhythm.
Kobe, I have a very general question about this concept. I see here a very, very specific website, to be honest. This looks like a perfect, wholesome website, although this is a template. And I'm trying to imagine how can someone different in a different industry, for instance, will put himself inside this shell. So do you have any kind of examples to show us how other users use templates?
Yeah, definitely. I totally monitor. I totally checked all the, not all, but a lot of websites that is created from this template, and I try to collect the ones that I thought that are really standing out. I will show you a few examples. So this is a brewery actually, and there is no connection between a brewery and a tech company, but this is a very good example of a great use of a template, because the person who built this website, he understood the template very well, and he changed the content, of course, he changed the font, and he kind of made it his own, and of course he changed the colors. and he understood very well to how to use the typography, and also he saw that I used this dark image over here, and he changed it to orange, and it's a transparent image. And same goes for the product section. And I think that's a really great example of how to use a template. And also it's completely off topic. I'll show you another one. So this is a cinematographer, or yeah, it's a cinematographer. He uses drones, and I think he also did a really cool job. He had those pretty cool animations in the beginning, and also here he really understand very well how to use this section. And same goes for the he turned off the sticky effect. That's his decision. It's okay. I'm fine with it. But yeah, that's a really good usage of the template. And my favorite, maybe, which is also off topic, is this one. It's the Azerbaijani Pavilion Biennale Art of 2024. And first time I saw, just to welcome, I said, okay, is that even this site was even built from the template? And once I started scrolling, I said, yeah, okay. So I see that it is the Volaso template. But one of the cool things that this user understood is the fact that he has much more content than I had. I had only like 6 words for the subtitle, and he just scaled the text and completely created like his own website. And also he has really great visuals, and yeah, this is definitely my favorite example.
Can you maybe show us a little bit about like how content stays, how they use our textual content?
Yeah, I also have some few examples. So as Inbar said, we definitely, in all our templates, we write our own titles. And we also try to think what type of content will inspire the users or will help them to create their own titles. And our title also starts with the future of, and here you can see the future of sustainable farming is here. And again, another great usage of the template. I really like this one. And I have another one, which I saw a few days ago. And the future of automated online trading is here. And so when we see that our users not only create great websites with our template, and they also have great content from the template, this is where we know that we're doing a decent job or a good job for our users, and this really makes us happy.
Definitely. Okay, Kobe, I think we're going to go to our last part of this webinar. And I think probably maybe the most important is to help a little bit understand a bit about the technicalities behind the design process. What are the first steps that you conduct before you design a template? Just take us through the process.
Okay, so this is actually we're jumping back a little bit, because the first thing I do once I get the brief from the visual expert is I conduct my own research, and my research is totally visual, and so sometimes we even we find pretty much the same websites. Sometimes we find websites that some different websites, but I started with a visual research on topic websites. Once I do that, I see like what are all the commonalities between all the websites. I don't know, something like they're all using sans serif fonts, or the color palette is very lean, usually black and white, or using grays as well. So this is something very important. This helps me to understand what am I going for and what kind of tools I need to create the template. And once I collected a lot of websites, I usually divide them into two categories. One is the clean tech, and then the dark and futuristic. And this is just helps me to understand like what type of directions I can go for when I design the template. And okay, so Aviv already asked in Bao before where I found those websites. So one of the websites that I really like, of course, I'm sure that some of you are familiar with, is Awards. It's a great place to see like the latest, craziest design websites, and yeah, this is super useful just to stay on trend, to see what's new. Site Inspire, same thing. Sometimes they have different websites from Awards. Sometimes they have the same websites. I really advise you to check as many websites, as many inspiration websites as you can. And of course, Behance. Behance is not really for web design. I usually use it to see a lot of branding, typography. Also, there's a lot of really cool industrial design in Behance. So this is also helped me to see how do I want the robot in the Volaso template to look like. And of course, Pinterest. It's super easy. Once you find a single image that you like, it shows you thousands of related images as well. And I really advise you, it's just once you start clicking, it's really hard to stop, and you can really quickly find a lot of references for your work. And I also advise you to go to our own Wix.com templates, just because there's close to 1,000 templates over here, so we really built pretty much any type of layout that exists on the web. So this is also, I really advise you. I also, from when I started template, I also jumped back to see older templates that we created, to see if I can find something interesting, something that will inspire me. And of course, we have the new Wix Studio templates, which you are all welcome to explore and see, get inspired from our work. Okay, so I also do this trend research. I'm looking I knew that I need the template was all about the delivery robot. So I knew that I need to search for product renders. Also, I was looking for some kind of a generic logo that will go for the template and so on. And it's actually funny. I look at those 4 references that I collected before I designed the Volaso, and you can actually see the similarities between the template and the references. I also use those strokes, large typography. The logo also is quite in similar language, the product renders and so on. So this is something that I really recommend, to do thorough research to understand exactly what you want to do. And when you go back and look at the research, and when you look at the final result and you see that it's really how you planned it, this is when you know that the working process was really good.
Yeah.
Kobe, I just want to stop you for a second and bring another question from the audience that I would take. Who sets the price of the template? So the answer for this is basically you guys set whatever price you think is right. You can see it, compare yourselves to others, and but this is up to you to decide the price. Yeah, you can go ahead and proceed.
Okay, and one of the last steps of the research is to have defining visual. I define the visual direction, and I also write myself those keywords that I think that they're gonna lead me through the design process, which are innovative, technological, of course, professional, clean, and also informative. And then this is where the actual design starts. And of course, I start by the wireframes. And I just want to say, like, regarding the wireframe is a very wide definition of. It's a really wide definition of what a wireframe is, because wireframe can be super simple, just black and white rectangles, or a very informative one. So we at Wix, because we are specializing in web design, we try to make the wireframes as informative as possible. We do some of the design decisions, like we choosing the font that we're going to use. We also we try to also define the graphic elements that we're going to use. Here in the Volaso case is all, of course, the strokes that I use that are going through the entire site. And this is just like a glimpse of some of the wireframes that I designed for the template. And then once I finalize the wireframes and I know that I'm happy with the result.
Kobe, there's just a question before you move on. Can partners also submit wireframes to the marketplace, or are they only obliged to design templates?
They can definitely submit wireframes. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but we also offer wireframes to our users, and I think it's a really it's a great way, actually, also to save time, because you don't need to curate your own images. Right. You can just use those placeholder images or abstract images, and sure, definitely.
It just needs to make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what happened after wireframing?
Okay, so after the wireframe, it's a design. This is where I actually moved to Midjourney and started generating the images. Actually, like the first image, I knew that I'm going to use a dark background for this section. So I knew that I need to generate an image with a dark background. So sometimes the wireframe actually dictates what type of images you need to use. So this is why I think that for me, in my personal opinion, the wireframe is is a very important step through the design and the building of the template.
I think another very important step, and I think this will be the last one, is in regards of the guidelines that partners have for submitting their templates. There's like a design system that you create and manage before you create a template. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So once we have the design, and we designed the websites in Figma, and then we moved to the Wix Studio. You can definitely also, actually, in the past few months, I actually started the design in the studio. This is also something that you can do, because the studio is like extremely flexible and very easy to work with, and you can also start the design in the studio editor, but that's totally your decision. I know that most of the designers are usually starting with Figma. So once I have the design in Figma, the first thing I do before I start building the template itself, I go to the site style in the left corner. I hope you guys can see it. And once I will click on it, the first tab is typography. And what I do, I set up all the text size and fonts that I need for the template. And this is super important, because it saves a lot of time, because when you move into the next section, you know that you need an H2 title, you know that you need a paragraph, and you already have those elements set. And also when you decide that you just want to change, I don't know, let's say I want to change the paragraph. So instead of just changing it on the inspector, I can just go to the site styles and just go to the paragraph 2, and just change it. I don't know. Let's say I want it to be 20. I apply, and
Huge change.
yeah, it happens across the website. So this is super cool. Also, one more thing that I also advise you is the color palette. So yeah, of course, the Volaso is only using black and white, but we in the template team, we also define all the color palettes we define all the colors in the palette, because we also want to find colors that will work well if the user want to add additional colors into the website. So this is also quite important. And one last thing, don't forget about the breaking points. It's super important, especially today when mobile is like the biggest platform for web surfing. So make sure that your website is looking good on mobile, and you can, of course, you can also do it for tablet, but mobile is super important because, as I said, most people surf the web with their mobile phones. And yeah, I think that's it. Maybe one. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Last thing.
Okay, last thing that I want to talk about is animations. So as you know, we have a lot of new animations. We have scroll animations, we have hover and loop animations. And a lot of people are asking me, like, how do you define the animations? So first of all, of course, like I don't have like this one methodology that will work for everyone. But first of all, it depends on the subject of the site. Okay, so here we're talking about a tech company. So I knew that I didn't want to have extreme animations. I was looking for more subtle movements into the site. And but I did use this really cool flipping text animation, which goes through all the titles in the website. So what I'm eventually trying to say is try to find the right balance between the animations, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you, you guys. I just have this last question here that I think it's super important. How does the review process work, and how long will the review typically take? And if they are rejected, will feedback to the partner be provided? So I'll take this question. We have a dedicated review team consisting of designers and tech designers and members from Wix Studio Templates team. So we commit up to 30 business days for reviewing submissions. And of course, the partner will be notified for everything, accepted or rejected, with the reason of rejection, so we can fix the template and then submit again. Okay, you guys, so we have reached to the end of the webinar. Thank you all for being here with us. I'm now going to post the link to the submission site. Let me pin it here. And we will definitely send it over in the Discord chat that we're going to have now after the webinar. If you probably have many, many more questions to ask. So we have Roberta that will be waiting for you guys in our Discord chat. In a moment now, Noah will post here in the chat the link for the Discord chat. And you guys can join. So I think we're done for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I know our schedules are packed, so we're super thankful for you guys to be here. Inbar and Kobe, thank you so much for this event, and I hope everyone is happy and glad that they joined. So, thank you, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.